welcome in to a very, 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 very special episode 026 of the Modern Dealer Podcast. My name is David Farmer with Entice, and with me, as always, is the very merry David Bertoncini. How you doing, David?
I am clumsy, man. Oh my goodness! So we got to put a blooper of what happened before we started.
Boom, boom. We'll put it right down here.
Hilarious. What I just did.
Oh my God! You knocked out the chain.
Part of the studio. Sorry, we rebuilt it.
Yeah.
We're back here for episode 026, which is going to be awesome. Doing our year-end recap. But before we get into that, if you're new to our channel or to our show, be sure to like, subscribe, share, do whatever you can, but make sure you always turn on notifications.
Ding.
And get that taken care of. And this is going to be a fun episode because we're going to go through everything that we've done throughout the last 25 episodes, man.
Absolutely. So this is definitely a Merry Christmas episode. This is probably going to be released on December 26th, so we hope you had a happiest Christmas. And as Clark W. Griswold would say, hopefully you had the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking K.
As you guys can see, David is all about Christmas vacation.
Got,
his due, his look at that.
I got this is what I got from my boss, Frank Shirley. I got enrolled in the Jelly of the Month Club 1-year membership. It's the gift that keeps on giving, such as what my cousin Eddie says.
That's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark, all year round.
All year round. And we actually now we had a special guest last week's episode, which has not even been released yet. So you probably have already seen it if you follow the Modern Dealer Podcast. So huge shout out to Sue B. Zimmerman, Instagram expert. We are excited to have somebody non-automotive, a woman's perspective on social media marketing in the modern dealer age. But we do have a special guest here. I don't even know if you've noticed that we have a special guest here. We got somebody hanging right there.
Oh my goodness, the squirrel from Christmas Vacation that jumped out of the tree.
Yep, I got my buddy the squirrel here.
You got to show that little squirrel clip.
Squirrel!
Oh man, too much. This is gonna be awesome. This is getting
fun.
So much more fun.
Super
love it, man. Love it. Check out the cup too, because going through I was going to go to the little grassroots coffee deal. As you guys saw the clip from a couple weeks ago. Grassroots, good.
Good. Yeah, it's good. Hey, if anybody's thinking about getting me a last-minute Christmas gift idea, what I'd like to do is have Frank Shirley, my boss from Melody Lane, brought right here in my living room.
Duct tape wrapped up and delivered. And yeah, I love that. I love that part of the movie, man.
So
we have to refer to the just movie references throughout the whole episode. Just some grassroots.
Grassroots again this week. Okay,
grassroots. They do bring it, but my man there, David's got what is this?
So this time again, I went with what I've been doing. Even though it's like 300 calories, like you said, a little peppermint mocha, right?
Nice.
From the Keurig Starbucks. So that's what I got here on the Moose Cup.
The moose is on the loose.
Yeah, and before we get into this, what the main topic today, David, is going to be the Modern Dealer Podcast. So this is episode 26. We've been doing this since a few days before July 4th, 2019. So rolling into 2020. When we first started talking about moving into 2020 and beyond, it felt like it was going to be kind of a long time from now. And guess what? It's like next week, right?
Yeah, but it's coming up next week. So
that's our main topic. Before we get in there, as David mentioned earlier on the podcast, is that he got a little bit clumsy. He knocked down Jenga twice, and we still have a few of the remainder Jengas right here.
Hey, nobody's perfect, man. I'm a little bit on the clumsy side. But whatever.
So it took us a couple extra minutes to get set up here. But anyways, David, super excited to be sharing this time with you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. I appreciate you and everything you do. It's been a great 6 months, and looking forward to a great 2020.
We'll this time next year we'll be on episode 07 something, man.
Maybe even 80.
Yeah,
52.
70 something.
Yeah.
But we got some cool.
Yeah,
We got some.
yeah, we can math pretty good, can't we?
Yeah, we can math.
What's
We're not so
26 plus 52? What is that? Shit, I don't know. 12? Okay.
But moving forward into 2020, we already know we're going to NADA.
Yep.
So the weekend of Valentine's Day, when you guys check us out, we'll be on site in Las Vegas, but we'll be there bringing the Modern Dealer podcast once again on the road with our guy Jason Metwick from 360 booth. That's going to be
booth 360.
Booth
360 booth.
Yep. So, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. And actually, Kevin Ictor had told me they have an interest in a booth. So I got to.
Okay, good. Yeah, definitely. That and when I was actually watching this podcast with my wife, and she'll watch this and go, don't say that. But she actually said, how many times are you going to plug that Jay in the 360 booth? It's something that we firmly believe in. We think it's really, really cool, and we think everybody needs one. So we're doing it again in this episode. Doing a few plug. So
you're welcome, Jay.
Yeah. So anyways, so one of the things that we wanted to do as we're wrapping up 2019 and the first year of the Modern Dealer podcast is kind of just take a quick trip down memory lane. So we started this back in
July 4th.
Yeah, it was July 4th weekend, our first episode, 001 of the Modern Dealer podcast. We featured Google My Business was the main topic. And what's really funny about that, too, is what a lot of people ask me about the Modern Dealer podcast is, why do you do the 001? And to be honest with you, is when we first sat down, I didn't know how I was going to kick off the episode. And we just turn on the cameras and we go, okay, let's go. Welcome in to the Modern Dealer Podcast, episode 001. And it just kind of came out, and it turned into a thing. So that's why we do the 00. That's just kind of how that first episode played out.
But hey, and come next July 2021, then we'll be there'll be no zeros in front of it anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be one something.
Yep.
So it'll be 104 actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yep. Did we do math right there?
I did.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check and make sure that's right. So anyways, 001, Google My Business. As we were going through that, I think that so instead of trying to go back through the topics of each one of these podcasts, I would kind of maybe just chat about it from our perspective. So the Modern Dealer Podcast studio, we actually had a visitor in the office yesterday and did a quick tour of the Modern Dealer Podcast. He saw it when it was before it was the Modern Dealer Podcast. And he said, yeah, it's changed quite a bit. And we actually, our first... my bell just hit the microphone.
That's when an angel gets his wings. I think that's from the movie. It's from one of the Christmas movies.
I think that's
every time a bell chimes.
Not the Miracle on. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's it.
So that's definitely another mainstay. So I've been watching Christmas Vacation every single year since it came out. And I think they just did a 30-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So it's 89.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 30-year anniversary. But another one that you have to watch every single year is.
Christmas Story?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life.
And I think they do a clip of the Wonderful Life in
Christmas Vacation,
right?
Yes.
When the guy's snoring and watching TV.
Yep, they were watching TV after they burned down. I think after they burned everything down. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. After the squirrel.
Yep.
So, anyways, episode 001. What I really liked about it is just looking back, and we were very okay, now we're doing a podcast and we're going to sound like we're on NPR radio station. Got to talk real quiet, real serious.
226 views.
Hey, that's not bad.
12 thumbs up, no thumbs down, no comments. But hey, the good news, it's some people actually sat down and watched it and
I think we shared a lot of great information about Google My Business, and that is something that you really should be doing. So if you want to have some tips and tricks and hacks and everything else for Google My Business, take a peek at that one. July 5th it was released, 2019, and that was actually out in our main conference room here at the Entice HQ in Tampa, Florida, and we moved it into its own deal. And as before we put our wall together, and it looks like we do have another little casualty here. Oh no! Poor little Doc Brown. Maybe
you you better handle it because old Butterfingers here somehow has knocked everything over. All right.
There it is.
Woo. Woo.
All right.
Say our prayers on that. So, yeah, Google My Business. I actually learned a lot of stuff myself from Google My Business, and it was cool, man. It was,
good first episode.
Good first episode. Good way to kind of kick it off. I had some repercussions of that from my Google My Own Business.
Yeah, exactly.
Which resulted in some eye-opening stuff.
Yeah, so, there's a lot to do there, and it's become a very hot topic. I was actually just watching a presentation from somebody from Google Analytics. They're talking about Google My Business. It is a very important part. It's a free part of your business, and I don't think dealers put enough effort into the Google My Business. You can download the app. You can do a lot of the things there. You can share. It's almost like a social media platform. That's the best way to think about it, right?
Yeah, that's basically what we discovered it was. So then we came out with the cool intro to the Modern Dealer podcast. Love that.
Yep. So that's the
signature
that was number
intro.
2. Yep. There we go.
We got a little action going on there and everything. And then we talked about YouTube.
Yep.
And since then.
Yeah, look at the bare wall now.
Yeah,
no shelves. That was when we first moved in here. We didn't have the brick wall or the Modern Dealer Podcast logo. But we did move in here. So I think it's episode 3 that we added the shelves.
Yeah, I came in. I'm like, man, this thing keeps changing every week.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yep. And this is we kind of have to celebrate. This is the first time you're not wearing a baseball cap.
Well, and actually it all started out because I had some skin cancer removed, and I was just like, well, maybe that's going to be my look for the podcast, is going with that, because, you know, unfortunately I didn't get the good genes like this good-looking David here did. And
well, I did get lucky the hair. That's
you did get lucky on
that. So. And we'll show a picture right here, just what my hair looked like in 1989, too. So since we're celebrating the 30th anniversary.
It's a little shout out to the hairband days.
Yeah, exactly. So that was episode 002. One of the things I like about this, we really covered this, we covered YouTube from a advertising standpoint, TrueView video advertising, a lot of great ways to utilize YouTube, a lot of different types of videos and placements and targeting. If you want to learn a little bit more about YouTube advertising, episode 002 of the Modern Dealer Podcast, please check it out. And then you'll be able to see that we're kind of getting into our rhythm a little bit. Yeah. We got the camera angles a little bit different for episode 2. That's carried on. But definitely looks very plain looking at it there compared to what it's kind of evolved to. So I'm anxious to see how it's going to evolve over time as well.
Well, the thumbnails, as you can see as you go through everything, you can see the thumbnails evolve. The first one was just, hey, it's the first one, second one. Now we got a little splash in there of the 02, and then of course covering our stuff on YouTube and YouTube advertising and how dealers are not utilizing their YouTube channel. They leave it to their advertisers. Yep. Well, you guys take care of that for us. And
that's one of the things we talked about last week with Subi Zimmerman about Instagram. It's not just an advertising platform. It is a way to connect with with your customer base in a free way, but it really takes being a disruptor in the space, creating unique content. So YouTube is definitely a lot that way, and so what's kind of cool now is you've been utilizing YouTube for your personal brand or online reputation for a few years now. This is something that's kind of new to me. So now I think we can officially say that we are YouTubers. Maybe we're not making $26 million per year like some of the YouTubers out there. I actually saw for 2019. Do you know who one kid,
the 7-year-old that does the toy review?
Yeah, toy review. Yeah. $26 million he made this year. The highest grossing YouTuber for 2019. Well, I don't know. Is it ever? Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I think that's
because I know PewDiePie he's making $20 million, and then that Logan Paul or whatever his name is.
But think about that. That $20 million, that $26 million he's made, it was just what YouTube can track.
Exactly.
Then you have plenty of sponsorship deals, side deals. Hey, do this for Mattel, do this for Amazon. It's just like all those side deals add up to another $26 million.
Oh yeah. So we're a YouTuber, but we've made this much off of our YouTube channel so far. But we love the opportunity to be a YouTuber, and I'm very proud to say that we are officially YouTubers.
So the cool thing I'll have to say, just to add to that YouTube episode, then we'll roll into 03. But if you go to a a fourth grade class right now, and you ask these kids, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a fireman? You want to be an astronaut? You want to be a doctor?
Wow.
No, I want to be a YouTuber. Yeah,
well,
that's the real deal, man. That's what these kids want to do. They want to do a blog.
What's super funny? I mean, what's super funny is about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Alex, who is my VP of operations here at Entice, give a shout out to Alex. Hey. He's been with me for almost 6 years now. He's a main member of the team. His
veteran.
Veteran is a veteran as well. I was at 3 tours of duty in Iraq, so thank you for your service. But and thank you for your service. He brought his son in, Braden, a few weeks back, and I set him in your chair.
Yeah,
I did a little mini interview. Modern Dealer podcast interview style, and I put that up on YouTube. So I'll share that link in our show notes here if you're interested in seeing that. But he wants to be a YouTuber. Yeah, he wants to be a YouTuber. He thinks it's very, very cool.
And he's at that age that that's what their ambition to be. So
yep, that's very cool. So episode 003, moving in. Yeah, Facebook. Auto inventory ads. So each one of these segments, we kind of in the Modern Dealer podcast, we try to pick out a main topic to talk about. And I love the fact that we can just have some, conversation about these different topics. And I think that's what a lot of people has told me that's watched and enjoys listening to or watching Modern Dealer podcast is they say it's cool because it's just like we're sitting around having a conversation, but we're talking about topical things. So I love the fact that we can have conversation about a whole bunch of different shit that's going on. We pick out one topic, we dig in a little bit, you get a few nuggets of information. And I like that that's the way that we've created the podcast. And I think this one...
well, what that makes me think of is back at the dealership, like we're sitting around the sales desk, right? Yeah. We're just sitting around the sales desk. It's like 8:30 at night. There's no customer coming in. Everybody's on their follow-up, and you're just kind of just BSing. But we're talking about, we're recapping the day at the dealership. Like, hey, did you call that customer? He told me this bullshit and blah, blah, blah. So, but, I mean, we're covering stuff that's, issues that we see that's happening with a traditional dealer trying to get them moved to becoming a modern dealer.
And what's really cool, too, is that, I spent 20 plus years in automotive retail. You spent 15 years in automotive retail. So we have that experience in the background. We both work in the automotive vendor space right now. So we get to work with a lot of different salespeople, sales managers, general managers, dealerships from across the country. And we get to kind of expose ourselves to, what are these guys that's doing extremely well? Where are these guys, having some struggles? What can we talk about and share on the Modern Dealer podcast that hopefully is going to add some value. And that's one of the things I know I've brought up quite a few times is that I really want the Modern Dealer podcast to add some value. Entertainment value, yes. Hopefully, I mean, I never considered myself an entertainer before, but I appreciate the opportunity to be.
There's some pictures of you from the 80s.
That is
you were
true.
A drummer entertainer.
But I guess I was, I was the guy that was hidden behind the drum set with my hair just going.
See, now you get to be Phil Collins. Now you get to be up front.
Yeah,
See?
There you go. Now I'm the front man. So entertainment, but bringing value. And I think that's what we did in episode 003. The cover art on that, I think it's almost evolved now to what
it's morphing.
It's morphing, right? Because we have our little episode badge there.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. So in the Facebook auto inventory ads, one of the things that we talked about here is really making sure that people understand that there is a difference between marketplace and inventory ads. And marketplace is a free platform, kind of like I like to equate it to Craigslist, where you can list your inventory for free or cheap. I think you have to pay for a Craigslist now. But inventory ads is where you're actually taking your inventory feed and you're publishing them to a customer's news feed in an inventory ad. And there's multiple different ways that you can set that up. And now you can see episode 003. We got our full wall. I got Fat Thor. So it's, but we still don't have the brick wall in the background yet, like we have now. And it looks like we have our lower third, but we don't have the animation in the lower third yet. So we're definitely getting there.
It's evolving.
It's definitely evolving.
Getting better, like Winn-Dixie, getting better all the time.
Yeah, so that's episode 003. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about Facebook automotive inventory ads, and I'd love to chat with anybody about all the different ways that you can use Facebook advertising. One of the things we do is we do instant experience ads. We do image ads. We'll do message ads. You can do lead ads. You can do gallery ads. There's so many different ways. I think before people really looked at, okay, so I got to do Google ads, Google pay-per-click ads, I have to do video ads, I have to do display ads, and I have to do Facebook ads. And it was like one thing by itself. Facebook today is kind of like the Google platform, is you got all these different types of ads, and you really need to become an expert and work with your advertising agency, not just say, run me Facebook ads. Have a good understanding of what type are available, because they're extremely powerful. And I think it's going to be more and more important as we move into 2020 and beyond.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's episode 003. We're 25 minutes in to the first segment.
5 minutes of me.
And we...
What I just did.
Oh my God! You knocked on the chain. Yeah.
Dropping
So
shit.
yeah, and we'll show a little a blooper clip of the Jenga wall falling.
Well, that's what it's meant to do. It's supposed to fall.
It is. You think I can whisk it?
It probably will. The Kool-Aid Man will come crashing down.
You think he will?
It's unsteady, but
Maybe.
Except to the floor.
All right. So with that, 26 minutes in on our clock, the Modern Dealer podcast clock, we're going to go ahead and, did you share your
I will. Maybe after.
We'll do it again. We'll have to do it again because get the thing going. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and hope you'll come back to the second and final segment of the Modern Dealer podcast with David and David. Welcome back into episode 026 of the Modern Dealer Podcast. We are jumping back into our Christmas episode, but before we get too far in, we have to do a sock cam check, right?
Yeah. So, and of course, it being wintertime there, I did go with the Penguins with my, not to do with anything like hockey, but just, this was actually a early Christmas gift. Wait a minute.
Is it? Okay.
Whichever. Just wear them in the winter. I'm very seasonal with my socks, so I do keep them very seasonal. But yeah, it's always fun.
Socks really, the sock game is really important to a lot of people. I'm seeing YouTubers talking about socks. I see Instagram stars talking about socks. It's kind of a thing.
There's a kiosk right around the corner there in the mall, which it's all they sell socks.
And I don't know if you can see on the sock cam here. This is about as cool as I get for a sock cam. Usually I'm just wearing little footies down here.
Right.
And if you didn't know, I guess we can show that off right now. You probably can't see that very good. Since we aren't, so tomorrow is Star Wars Episode 9 relief. I'm kind of a Star Wars geek, so you can see that. I even got the Millennium Falcon tattoo in a in the Rebel symbol. So, nerd alert!
Nerd alert!
I like when you attach that the Homer Simpson thing.
Yeah, nerd! Yeah, that was super funny.
Oh well.
And
I'd rather be a nerd than anything else, man. It's more fun that way, I think.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely proud of the fact that I am. I truly am. What's funny is you look back at my pictures in the late 90s, long hair, rock band kind of guy. I evolved into that. If you just saw a picture of me in like 8th grade or 7th grade, it was like, huh? So yeah, truly a nerd from way back.
Speaking of way back, and I gave you kudos yesterday when we had some visitors here at Entice, and I was telling, for those that don't know, that David Farmer is actually I would say the godfather of digital retailing, because he had back in the 90s had created the software that every dealer is now using today to pencil deals for customers. And now you developed even more stuff, which we'll cover because there's an episode to cover about that.
Yeah, digital retailing, absolutely. Yeah, so that's ePencil back in the 1999. As, we worked together at that point. We were actually just doing a Facebook message to the sales manager, the desk manager back in those days way back. So shout out to Kevin Ichter. We're excited to be chatting with you again. I think about all the years that I've been in the automotive industry, and those couple years from like 98 to 2000, I mean, the crew that we had back then, I probably the most enjoyment I had in my automotive career was those 2 years. I mean, I worked at other dealerships, and and I've worked with some other great people, but just that time period, just really kind of resonates with me. So it's a good time.
Yeah, me both.
Yeah, it was super cool. One last thing we'll do before we jump into episode 4 of the Modern Dealer Podcast is that we had a cold front that came through the other day. I think 2 days ago. It was like 80 and muggy. I mean, it felt like it was August. It was warm. It was sticky. Yesterday, freezing cold. This morning, it's actually it's a bit nipply out. Did I say nipple? Yeah, it's a bit nipply out.
Old Clark Griswold there as he's shopping.
I had to get
we got to show that clip in there.
I had to get one more out. It's getting ready for Christmas, dressing up as Clark W. Griswold, getting the Yule log. I mean, I'm not saying I have a log, but if you think the way I'm saying that log, I'm just saying it's Merry Christmas. So, anyways, episode 004. We're getting a little bit closer into, what is evolved into the Modern Dealer Podcast now. So this is the 2019 Buyer's Journey Study, digital retailing study by Cox Automotive. A lot of great information there. I think we did a really good job. A lot of great stats you can look at of why people are engaging with digital retailing. You mentioned ePencil just a couple minutes ago and how we used it back in 99, 2000, utilizing it in a BDC, utilizing it via email, get somebody that emailed a lead in or called in. We were engaging with transparency into the deal calculation, with that. But that
was a beta version too that we were using.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very raw back then.
Very raw. It's cool though. It was cool.
Yeah.
So here, try this.
Yeah, exactly.
I just finished this. I used to love it when I get a pencil and you were the used car manager at the time, and he's like, here. Yeah. Check this out. Look what this can do. Like it was like what was that from what was that show? It had Stewart on there. Mad TV. They're like, look what I can do. You'll have to show a clip of that.
Yeah.
People are like,
cool.
What's he talking about?
All right, so episode 04. I'm actually looking forward to the 2020 Buyer's Journey, see what has changed. We'll do another episode next year. For the 2020 Buyer's Journey. They've been releasing that quite for many years. I don't know how many years they go back. And then we jump into episode 005. Now this is the first thumbnail that really kind of gets us pretty close to where we're at now. We're still kind of getting our feet wet a little bit. We have the 005 episode there, the dealer guidebook. So this is Dealer Guidebook version 1.0 and how you as a dealer can use Google advertising. In this dealer guidebook, they talk about the micro moments that customers are taking. From an awareness to consideration to other micro moments such as, I forget all of them, but the price, and I'm totally drawing a blank now, so I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to go there, but I do know that Google has released the Google Dealer Guidebook 2.0. So that's very exciting. That'll definitely be a topic that we get into hopefully in January, maybe February. But that'll be a lot of great new information. Google's Dealer Guidebook, and with version 2.0 coming out this year.
And that was so much to cover. That was actually an hour and 15-minute episode.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. Is like we kind of got we kind of got this down to a rhythm now where we do 2 segments of about 25 minutes each.
Yep.
It's giving us somewhere between a 30 and a 45 minute podcast. So I think that works well. If you agree, please let us know in the comments. If you want it longer, shorter, let us know. That'd be fantastic. All right, so now moving into episode 006. We're 8 minutes into the second segment, so we got plenty of time here. 006 Google Marketing Live 2019 Think Auto event. A couple of great speakers here, David, if you remember. I think there was a German lady, right?
Yep. She was, what was she talking about?
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth. How could I forget Dr. Ruth? It was just like right there. But yeah, she was covering some good points that we brought home and covered it in that episode. I'm trying to think of maybe some things. Oh, there's our slide notes.
Yep, I'm going to pull up the slide note right here. The slideshow.
Yep. Because this was basically 5 months ago, 4 months ago that we talked about this.
So there was there's a handful of speakers for the Google Live the Google Live event. This is
that's like episode 1. Google My Business.
Google Marketing Live. Okay. I just had Dr. Ruth talking about the future of automotive, the electrification of the sales process. And then we had electrification, OEMs, shared mobility, autonomous driving, and then the digitization of the customer journey. We really spent a lot of time talking about that. Then there was also another speaker talking about his experience with
dealership. I was thinking about this yesterday.
Yeah, with the Tesla versus the
Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo. Yeah. So some great information there. Definitely recommend going back and watch or listen to that episode. I think we did a really good job. And like you said, it was kind of long.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Good stuff. 006.
006, then 007. So we're starting to add a little bit to our thumbnail. 007, of course, playing off on the James Bond logo theme we did there. So we discussed online car buying with reviews from Carvana. This is one of our most popular episodes. Talking about Carvana. We did a lot of great research. So preparing for this episode, I sat through and searched on YouTube and tried to find customers who went through the online process at Carvana and really try to get there. So YouTubers that did reviews for their purchase for Carvana is what I used to be able to prepare for this. And I know you watched those as well.
Yeah, and I think overall what we did gauge is people love it. I love the Carvana process. They loved the whole experience, the ability to do everything online, have the vehicle delivered. And then you had a handful of people which didn't have a bad experience, but they're like, well, I wanted to return the car. There was no hassle in returning the vehicle. Yeah. It was a very, very smooth transaction.
Oh, you know what? I just noticed here too that we said that when we got to 100 subscribers, we would get a Modern Dealer Podcast hat. So we're going to do that in January. I haven't figured out where we're going to get the hats from. I just need to put that to order so we can actually have them. So we're going to go through anybody that is our first 100 subscribers, and we're going to put your name in a hat. Maybe not literally, but figuratively, and we're going to pull a name, and we'll reach out to you. We'll do a direct message on YouTube, and we'll get you a hat, and we'll go ahead and also make we'll get some Modern Dealer Podcast hats and T-shirts made. If you want one, we'll make them available for purchase. It'll just be like a pass-through expense, not like we're looking to make any money off of that, but that'd be kind of cool. So we'll put that out there.
Yeah, they're only $12,000. I mean, we're not really looking to make any money on these shirts, but
that would be our net cost. So every time we make a purchase, we'd sell it for. So and I'll even personally pay for the shipping. So we'll just the net cost being what it is. that's the wholesale value. I mean, we could go into the safe and we could pull out the invoice to prove it to you, but we can't do that. So that was
back to the old days there. Yeah. Back to the old days.
All right. So that's 007. Like I said, one of our most popular episodes. I think it was really cool the way that we put that together and provided some good insight and some good stats around that. It looks like you had some coffee from Craft Roasters.
Yeah, Kraft. Those guys were they're right around the corner from me where I live. They actually have 2 locations, and shout out to Kraft. Those guys actually had threw up the old Kraft logo when my wife was giving birth to our daughter. It was good. We were part of their marketing. They were like, our first baby at our new location. I'm like, yay. Yeah.
So moving on to episode 008, Amazon versus car dealerships. Who will win the retail war? So we decided this as a main topic for that episode because one of our friends, Lloyd Truschel, you said it right the first time. Wrote an article about Amazon in automotive retail. Great article. That would have been in the August issue of F&I Showroom Magazine. If you go back to episode 008, we include a link in our notes of that magazine and the article. You could read that. And there's a little tiny honorable mention of ePencil and me and our product with the Dealmaker, our digital retailing application. So we love talking about this as a topic, and we loved having Lloyd come in at a later episode, which we'll get to in a minute. So episode 008, Amazon versus car dealerships. A great episode.
Yep.
And for that one, I think our art was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We had the little smiley face under the 00, and then in the 007, we had the 7 from the James Bond. And then moving into 009, organic versus paid. This is kind of it's a different type of main topic for us, but something that's extremely near and dear to our hearts. And we didn't pick an article or we didn't pick a thing, but we really just wanted to kind of talk about organic social media for salespeople, for sales managers, how you can leverage that to build your own personal brand and why that's so important. And it's something I think that you can do regardless of what dealership that you're at. You can really start to create your own personal brand and leverage that to get people to make a connection with you as a salesperson so they choose to do business with you, maybe not just because you are working at the closest Toyota dealership or the closest Ford dealership, but they're choosing to do business because of the relationship that they have with you.
Exactly. Yeah, I always go back to the reference. It's got to be, product and process the same pretty much everywhere, but it's the people that is the one that's making it all happen for real. This connections, relationships, like Sue B said last week, man, she's just, you got to have that relationship. She denoted that she hates going to the car dealership and a post office. The post office, huh? I guess that's not a pleasurable experience either. You kind of think about it, so I guess they are kind of a little postal in there. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. No pun intended, right?
All right, so organic is the new paid, episode 009, moving on to 010. This is our Tesla episode. I like what we did for the...
I love the thumbnail, man.
The thumbnail art on this one, where we put us in space outfits.
Because he had launched his
car into space. Yeah. And that was something we talked about there. I live in Wesley Chapel, which is just north of Tampa. And 3 nights ago, I think it was Monday night, SpaceX launched a rocket off of the other coast of Florida. I don't know if you knew this or not. And it was at night. I was saying 9 o'clock. I went in my backyard. I could see it clear as day. It was small, but I could see the exhaust trail. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. I'll even include a little tiny thumbnail.
Lights up the sky, man.
It was crazy. I did get an opportunity when I lived in Claremont, so much closer to the other coast. They did a shuttle launch, a nighttime shuttle launch. And Claremont, where it's at in the state of Florida, is kind of in the center of the state. And it's kind of about where the highest point of Florida is. Right. And we kind of lived up on a hill, so high for Florida standards, not like Breckenridge where you're going to go do some skiing next week. But we saw the shuttle launch from Orlando. It was amazing. I mean, it was like we were we were like 50
you're
miles
there.
away.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
They used to, when they launched, they used to sell tickets to that.
I bet.
Then I had an old buddy of mine. He's like, I got tickets to launch 07.
Wow.
Or it was a Mission 0, whatever it was, or 1 something. But he was really into that, and it was pretty cool stuff, man. So
pretty cool.
One of the advantages of living here in Florida, get to see stuff like that.
Episode 010. So that was the I guess 009 was the last of the 00 episodes, and we'll have that come back around for 100. Tesla and the electrification of the car business, kind of picking up on the Think Auto event with what Dr. Ruth was saying about the electrification of the ar business. So some cool information there. Popping back, going into episode 011. So 11. This is actually we had kind of some. So just looking at the thumbnail here, since it was 011 and it was on Friday the 13th, I thought it'd be kind of funny to play into the Stranger Things theme, which also just had recently released for season 3. I don't know if you're a Stranger Things fan or not, but of course I am. Where's our guy? Oh, you dropped our guy? Where do you go?
No, I think he's buried when I put this back up. He's not dropped. He's just, he may be covered by a little more of these guys. He's in there.
No, he's not.
He's not?
Oh, where did you put him?
We'll find him.
Yeah. So anyways, we got our boy, he's way over there. He's in the corner. Get him.
Oh my goodness, settings. My apologies.
So anyways, Stranger Fans theme. We got Dustin from.
You better do that.
He goes right there.
On yours. Here?
No, right here in the corner like that.
Got him.
Yeah, there you go. So now you realize. So here's the guy with the beard and the hat, and the beard and the glasses. And there's the guy with the hat. You know, Dustin doesn't have the beard, but you do have the hat. So
gotcha. All right, so I get the hat. I'm just scared of knocking something out, so I'm very cautious today. So I'm going to be extremely.
All right, so 011 was about social media tips for salespeople. If you're interested in getting a daily social media tip for salespeople, follow the hashtag social media tip for salespeople on Twitter or Instagram, and you'll see that I put out there a daily actionable task that you can do to build your social media following. Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on to episode 12, our first guest. And you know what? I was just speaking with Sam day before yesterday, and I told him we needed to get him back on. So he committed sometime in January to be another special guest, and we'll pick out another good topic. So Sam is the general manager of Brandon Honda, a dealership that I've been doing business with for many years. And he's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable, has a lot of experience. Brandon Honda is one of the most successful Honda dealerships in the nation. They do a great job in fixed operations. They do a great job in variable operations. They just did a big expansion. But we were talking about disruptions to the franchise dealer model, talking about Carvana, talking about Vroom and
CarMax,
right?
and stuff. And one of the cool things that he had talked about in that was we started with the interview of talking to these guys that are been in the car business and asking about the first car they sold. And,
the origin story.
The origin story, which has become really fun, man.
I like that. Yeah,
the origin story, and then it just kind of got more of a conversation. We just started having, more and more fun as we started to bring more guests on. But he definitely. Oh, and he was one of the most impressive things. I was just thinking a minute ago is he is one of the top 40 under 40.
He was, yes, yeah. Automotive News 40 under 40. News, he was featured in that. We talked about that. So if you're interested in learning about Sam's first car that he sold, and what it's like to go through the experience with Automotive News, being selected as one of the 40 under 40, please tune in to episode 012, Disruptors to the Franchise Model, the Modern Dealer Podcast. All right, moving on. We need to really tick this up. It's 22 minutes in. I really, when I said that we were going to do this, we're going to go through each episode, I knew that we were not going to be able to make it through all. So maybe
we'll have to break it up.
We'll have to break it up. We'll see how far we get. But, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
I think we're doing a good recap of...
Well, that was halfway through them.
Yeah.
And now if you add up the time, we're about 40 minutes into it. So we may have to bring it down to a part 2 of the year-end review. But that's okay. We'll still.
So one of the things that I like to do is I do the editing of the Modern Dealer podcast. This truly is a 2-man deal. I think I've had some comments from a few people. Yeah, it'd be easy to do that if I had a team to do all the work. I go,
what team?
What are you talking about? I mean, there ain't no team. There ain't nobody in here except for David and David, 2 cameras, and my Mac when I do the editing. But anyways.
Shout out to the Mac Pro version there that you got.
Final Cut Pro.
That's what makes it happen.
Yeah, that's what makes it happen. So one of the things I like to do is the artwork for this as well. So it's kind of a creative outlet. And I always try to figure out, well, what am I going to use for the little graphic that I put on it. So what's the background going to be? I think it's going to be pretty easy this time. So if you're watching this, you'll have already seen the thumbnail that I will create, hopefully probably sometime next week. But for the 0, you'll see this guy right there. So maybe I'll just do a little screenshot right there, screenshot, and that guy will be the 0 for episode 026.
Nice.
And actually, that only became a thing on episode 014. But before we get there, episode 013, we talked about the evolution of digital retailing. We talked about a BDC. We actually talked a little bit about ePencil there as well. We talked about coffee and a whole lot more, according to my notes. We talked about Vroom. We talked about Shift. So the evolution of digital retailing, I think that was a really good episode too. We had 347 views, so one of our more popular episodes. So that was a really good one. I had a fun time talking about that. And I think I need to do a screenshot of an ePencil worksheet. And we had a guest here at the Entice HQ yesterday. He was not aware that, where my background goes from a technology standpoint, and how influential ePencil was in the desking solutions of today, 20 years later. Yeah. So that's very cool. So episode 014, our first cover art where I used some sort of image as the 0, and I did that utilizing Blinky. Which one?
That's Blinky. Yeah, Blinky. Pinky is pink, and that's Blinky.
Blinky. Okay.
Yeah.
So I used that as for 014, and that was based on that might have been our first stock cam.
I think it was.
I think that was our first stock cam. That's why I did that. Yeah.
Which was good stuff. And
we talked about CarMax, and we talked about omni-channel retailing,
which I was amazed by. And it's so cool when we do the research before these episodes, and just learning additional, just getting some nuggets from every one of these episodes. So hopefully our viewers are getting the same thing that we receive when we start to take on the journey of this. So we're picking up a nugget that you can take back to your store and use right away.
Yeah, and really just kind of spur some thought of, different areas of the car business. I mean, I know, with my time in the business, we spend a lot of time at the car dealership, and it can become very monotonous, and especially if it's a slow time, you kind of have to sludge through some of those days. I mean, how many times you're standing on the point where there's nobody around, you're just waiting for that clock to tick away. So anyways, the reason I bring that up is this is such a vast, large industry that has so many different facets, from tier 1 and the OEM and the manufacturing, to retailing and advertising and selling and, entrepreneurship. And there's so many cool things about, and, the cars themselves are cool. And, we sometimes when you're in it, you kind of lose the the coolness of how cool it is to open up a brand new car and get that new car smell. So anyways, we hope that we bring some value. We try to pick out topics that are that can create some interest and maybe learn one or two things. Maybe when you're driving to work. That's kind of what our whole goal with this was. So anyways, episode 014, CarMax and omni-channel retailing. CarMax, we do a lot of great information about CarMax. They're doing some really, really cool things, and I think we even talk about them a little bit more on another episode. I can't remember.
015, next one. CarMax versus
Carvana. So yes, that was actually, exactly. And there was a companion episode that I did for episode 15. Mm-hmm. So I did my CarMax experience, which I still have right up here, where I took my personal car, I went through the appraisal process at CarMax and kind of went through that whole process, and I did a recording of me driving to CarMax and kind of going through the process. Something crazy happened. So as we talked about,
all the old iPhones.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. So since that time, so I've had this iPhone 4 since an iPhone 4 came out, which has been 2012?
Yeah.
Something like that. Look what happened.
Oh,
the battery exploded.
Oh, just sitting on the shelf?
Just sitting up there.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts? I mean, since 2012, it's been perfect.
Huh.
So anyways, that's pretty crazy.
I think it's Apple's idea to make sure if you still have that phone, they're just like, we're just going to make the phone explode. Remember how they were being accused of they're like, if you don't update, then you're going to, your phone's going to get slower and slower and slower.
Yeah.
Now they just explode them. My old phone, self-destruct. Destroying the old ones.
All right, so we are 29 minutes in. We can wrap this up right now.
Yeah,
we only got a few seconds. So, hey, we loved having the time with you. We don't even have time for Bert's tips.
There was just a recap, just the 3 tips. Just be sure to watch and subscribe and check out all our content.
And one thing I have to say as we get this thing wrapped up here for David and David, we hope that you had the happiest time. I'm sorry, I'm doing more time. We hope that you have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking K. We're out!
See ya. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I think you should stay out of it, David. You're not good under pressure.